Yo, people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another episode of London Clubs Carnage. The final episode of London Clubs Carnage on StreamYard for Tobs, because next time it's going to be in studio. We still need to get the dates. So, Lawless, whatever happens in that conference league in person, you will have to face the music from Tobs. Maybe if it goes wrong. If it goes the right way for you, then I can't wait to see what you might have prepared for him.
Boxing gloves, man.
Yeah, boxing gloves are going to be out. Do you know what I'm saying? But listen, Tobs has been on this show from the very, very beginning, people, from Lee Gunner, Corey days, arguing about Mahrez being better than Neymar, Pulisic, Sancho, Hudson-Odoi, all of these things. So listen, big shout out and thank you to Tobs for his dedication and his time to the show for all these years. And he's not going to be with us on next season, but he will be on the Big Six. We will be seeing him every week regardless, unfortunately.
Coward. Running away.
He's saying he's a coward running away. But listen, for the final show, I'm going to cook up a nice highlight reel for Tobs, who's bald head. Do you know what I'm saying? It's going to be good. We're going to have a special send-off, special episode. We've got to do that in person. And it's not the only send-off, because it seems like this has not gone well either.
Oh, no.
That's what happens when you get a loan plan on the back of your shirt.
Oh, bro, that's an epic fail, man. Fucking.
Oh my god. Oh my days.
How did I not know you did this?
Well,
when did you buy that?
Oh, I bought it as soon as he came. I can't lie. As soon as he arrived, I bought it. You have to take risks in life, and this one hasn't paid off. Seems like according to the breaking news, João Felix will be leaving. He won't be signing on a permanent, because obviously Pochettino is not keen. He's not interested, but he does want the holding midfielder from Sporting Lisbon, Ugarte. That's also the breaking news. But listen, let's start with.
You laugh at that. Sorry, Matisse. 1 second. At the weekend, there was obviously the new Arsenal shirts come out. Everybody had it on, and there was one geezer that had Xhaka on the back. I was like, why would you do that? Looks like he's leaving. Why would you get Granit Xhaka? Like, why would you get him anyway? But why would you get Granit Xhaka now? Oh my word. Anyway, sorry, man.
It's terrible timing. But he did leave us with a goal against Man United, a consolation 4-1 defeat. So it is what it is. But listen, I said when he arrived, I said it on this channel. I said, listen, regardless of what happens at Chelsea, I'm still gonna rate the player. But I'm not gonna scream and cry about him leaving, because listen, it's Pochettino's decision, and everybody wanted a definitive, decisive manager who knows who he wants to keep, who knows who he wants to sell, and he is on his way out. But you guys, I mean, what have you made? What do you make of the player? Like, you've seen him obviously a couple of months at Chelsea. I know Arsenal have been linked in January. I don't know if you were taking Potts as maybe another option for you up there, but what have you made of the player? Expectations wise, is he disappointed? What is he worth? Kind of like that type of discussion, I think, for João Felix today. What do you make of him, Potts? I'll start with you.
João Felix is hard for me because when he first come to Atletico, it was like big, mega money. So I was expecting like Neymar, Messi potentials. Do you know what I'm saying? It was like, wow, is this guy absolutely superb? I didn't really see it, if I'm honest. I saw glimpses of it, thought he was half decent. But he was good enough for me to actually have some form of impact at both Arsenal and Chelsea. I did say at the time that I thought he would have probably fitted in better with Arsenal, just for the pure fact of where Arsenal were this season in comparison to Chelsea. But I must say, I expected him to be involved in a lot more goal contributions with Chelsea. It's very difficult because of who has been good at Chelsea. Not really anybody. I mean, Badiashile has come in and been okay. Other than that, the other signings ain't really banged. Maybe Enzo and Madueke have looked good in parts, but for me, hasn't really been an outstanding season for Chelsea. So it might be quite hard to kind of rate him on what he's done for them. But saying that, he's probably the best of a bad bunch that you've got across your front three, to be honest, because none of them have looked outstanding, bro. I'm not so sure if he'd be worth the money. Well, he's definitely not worth the money Atletico paid for him. I don't think he's had a good relationship with Diego Simeone, but there's rumours that he might not stay past this season anyway if he does go back there. But João Felix, I don't even want to say how much he'd cost, really. I don't even know what to guess at that, to be fair.
I think minimum Atletico want around 70, 80 million. And I wouldn't feel comfortable putting that money out there with what we've spent already and in Nkunku coming in. I think with João Felix, it's tough because it's tough to judge him on this stint at Chelsea based upon who's managed us and the state of the club. But at the same time, you do have to judge him a little bit, because if you're going to put down money, you need to know what you're putting money down for. But I still believe that the player has has a higher ceiling if he goes to another club, but there'd be question marks about what he gives you off the ball in terms of maybe winning the ball back high up the pitch, things like that. And that's something that Poch obviously would want to implement. So that's a question.
50 million, would that be crazy? Would that be too little, too minimum?
You know, for me, I think a loan deal would have been kind of what I would have been looking for, like a middle ground. But when you got Nkuku coming in, you've got Kai Havertz, who hasn't left yet, Mason Mount, who hasn't left yet. To go and add another player on top of that would kind of be irresponsible. But also, one point that nobody's making is Enzo could be moved up a little bit higher up the pitch as well at times. Like there's no reason to suggest why not. The guy's final ball is brilliant. He can take shots from outside the box. He's a creative player. So you never know. Enzo could be kind of unleashed a little bit more next season with more protection behind him. So that's another player that might be in the same
demon. Would you say he could be a midfield demon in waiting?
I'm not going to use the word demon ever again. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. That is not going to happen. I asked you before, how is Mark Doherty doing? You haven't told me yet. Where is he at? Where is
the fact that you're calling him Mark Doherty when you know exactly what his name is? It's hilarious.
Do you know what I mean? Is he at Atletico Madrid on loan? Is he? I don't know.
Where's Reece James though? Where's Reece James?
He's injured, and you take a 50%.
What a surprise!
50% Reece James over any one of your fullbacks any day of the week.
A 50% Reece James is looking cooked right now. So boy,
it's been a rough year, but do you know what I mean? The stocks were holding. I'm sure you're not going to make such a silly mistake to go and tell me one of your fullbacks are better than Reece James for the second time.
I've never even insinuated such things. Right, I'm just talking to you about your golden boy, right?
Yeah, of course. Listen, it's been an injury here.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's talk about your golden boy. Yeah, let's talk about your golden boy, Tobs.
No. Before we do,
Pochettino.
Before we talk about
Pochettino, we will get to that
because this goes into Felix.
Hold on, hold on.
Wait, let me circle it round to Felix. I'm not diverting the conversation.
He's an experienced podcaster. He knows what he's doing. All right.
Yeah, know what I'm doing. I'm not taking away from Felix. Right. So your golden boy, Pochettino, obviously, like Felix is going back. They're probably not going to sign him. What?
You did want Pochettino at West Ham, but anyway.
Whoa.
The guy that you were
diverting.
No,
I'm not diverting. You called him my golden boy. He's right. You're right. Good. I'm glad your shit internet cut out. That's why you're leaving. That's why we're kicking you off this show, because your internet's fucking B-Tech. Yeah? Right. There he is. He's back now. But the point on Poch and Felix, right, is the fact of, look, like you had a lot of high hopes for Felix Matisse, and he showed some positive qualities, but like Poch said, no one looked good in that team. But it's all about what Poch wants. And I think that showed it was a good move bringing him on loan. Now it's one less player Poch has to worry about, saying, do we want him? Does he fit into my system, how I want to play? Do we need to keep him or move him on? Now we can look, assess, go, okay, maybe he looks at Felix and go, he is a big part of my plans. He is a big part of how I want to play. So I do want to slap the money down. Or, yeah, actually, that's not what I want. There's better value elsewhere. Or this player is much more suited. That's, I think, that's a good thing. I think it's just a good thing all around that you had a loan. Yeah, maybe they overcharge you, but it's a fresh start now in this new project. No, I'm not going to say process. This new
you can do better project is what I think we're getting at. Like, it ain't going to be like, oh, this is such a shame for Chelsea. Felix is leaving. You could do better.
If he goes to Man United or he goes to Arsenal and he tears it up, then it's going to look really mad on our part a little bit.
No, I don't think it's going to look mad though, because you have to weigh it up against what you need, right? What you need at the moment, I don't think he can provide. And I don't say that to say that he's not a good player. This is clearly a talented player. I think he's a quality footballer. I do, but I just feel like what you get from João Felix at this point in time is not enough for this current iteration of Chelsea. And I feel like he's a luxury player. In my opinion, I think he's a bit of a luxury player, and he doesn't really give you the luxury on a frequent enough basis for you to spend 90 to 100 million on him right now,
with your current predicament. Like if everything was, if you had a settled squad, right? If you had a settled squad and you're looking for that little bit of class on top of what you've got now to sort of reinforce your position at the top, by all means, go and sign João Felix. But when you're actually trying to rebuild your team, I don't really think he's someone that you need at the moment. When you look at all your attackers, you got Sterling, you got Nkunku coming in. You don't know what you're doing with Kai Havertz. You don't know what you're doing with Christian Pulisic. You don't know what you're doing with Ziyech. You signed Noni Madueke. You don't know what you're doing with Callum Hudson-Odoi. Chelsea, the next attacker that needs to come in at Chelsea is someone that needs to score goals. It doesn't make sense that Chelsea spend 90 to 100 million on João Felix when you literally don't have a focal point who can put the ball into the back of the net. Doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, he just signed a contract at Atletico for them to release him to come to Chelsea on loan in the first place. That was part of the agreement. So he is going to cost a lot of money. And I think if we didn't have Nkunku, you could make more of a case. I actually think Nkunku versus Felix. I don't know how highly you guys rate Nkunku. Do you think he's going to be astronomically better than Felix? I don't think it's as much of a clear-cut thing as people will probably make it out to be, because Nkunku's new and he's coming in. People immediately be like, Nkunku's 100 times going to be way better, but he's obviously finished joint top scorer in Bundesliga. But you know, hopefully he comes in and he adds more goals to the team and he carries that over. But we've seen that's been a problem before. The one thing I will say of Nkunku is that he does look much more built for the Premier League than Werner was and Kai Havertz was, in terms of the strength and being able to shield the ball and being able to take on challenges and kind of use your body to your advantage in those kind of tighter spaces. I feel like Kai Havertz and Werner in particular, as soon as they came, they made it very clear that they were quite surprised with the physicality of the league and the centre backs and all of that kind of stuff. And I felt, yeah, you guys are probably more suited to the open space in the Bundesliga. The running, they're like gazelles. Do you know what I mean? They need to be in the wild. Bundesliga, if you watched it over the weekend, that the title fight, the amount of space Dortmund gave Mainz, it was just outrageous. And this must be a weekly occurrence, because every time I watch the Bundesliga, it's the same thing. Space upon space upon space. And they conceded those 2 goals and bottled that title like it was nothing. So for me, I hope Nkunku, you know, isn't going to go down the same track as them. But I do think Felix is a good player, and I do think he would have done very well for us if we wasn't so jam-packed in this position already. And when it comes to Poch, look, we know what he stands for, and let's not lie, Felix is not exactly a Poch player. And people won't be happy. I see people are already lashing out on socials, but you can't have it both ways. You can't say Poch is going to come in now and you want to judge him fairly, but then not kind of get him players that are suited to what he wants to do. You can't have it both ways. You can't judge a guy based off players that he's not 100% on. It doesn't make any sense. Ugarte, though, is a player that he's 100% on, who looks like a player that he wants to bring in. And Ugarte played against Arsenal this season and Tottenham. I don't know if he stood out to either of you guys when you played them. I think, Tobs, you guys played him in the Champions League in the group stages, 2 games. And Arsenal, obviously, in the Europa League. For you, Potts, did he stand out as a 52 million release clause?
We played home and away against them, and it wasn't the best of quality of games. So I can't sit there and say that anybody shone on either side, as Arsenal and Lisbon. But I rate the Lisbon coach. I think that if he would have been coached well, and if he's a young kid, I believe 22 Uruguayan, so he's got some potential there. They must have seen something in him if he's got that much of a release clause. The only thing I would say is I'm not sure how much physical presence he has. I think he's more of a lightweight type deep lying player, but I don't know much about him, Matisse. I can't sit there and lie to you and pretend that I do. So they've obviously seen something in him.
Yeah. They said they seem to see him as a destroyer, as a 6 that's going to come and play, maybe balance out the midfield with Enzo. For me, again, this is a position that we've lacked for ages. And you guys obviously took Jorginho there in January for that 12 million fee. And now you're looking at Declan Rice. We are not favourites for that guy at all. Do you know what I mean? He's captain of West Ham, but he probably wants Champions League football. So you're head and shoulders ahead as well for him. And Caicedo, I don't know what's going on there. So for me, when I look at Ugarte, even though I haven't seen as much of him as I would have seen of Rice and Caicedo and Paulinho and Lavia, the underlying metrics do look pretty good, and he does look like he's pretty combative, and he is a 6. He's definitely a destroyer. Might be more of the Casemiro mode where build-up play could be a question and volume of passes playing through him could be a question, but at least it balances out the midfield.
I think I was kind of meaning more physical attributes in terms of he's not a Patrick Vieira. He's a destroyer, yeah, but he's like 6 foot, I think. So he's not like this monster of a guy, I don't think. Anyway, I might be wrong. People in the chat seem to think he is like a Vieira, but I don't know if he is from what I can see. He didn't shine to me.
I've not really watched them, to be honest, so I can't really comment. Even when we played them, I didn't really notice many Sporting Lisbon players that stood out in that 2-0 win, apart from Marcus Edwards and some of the wing backs, right? But
Marcus Edwards was the one for me. He was the one that shone for me. Yeah, exactly.
So from what I'm reading, apparently this guy's meant to be quite good. All my friends they speak highly of him, so I'd need to do my research. It's the same with Nkunku. Like, I know you know face value information about these players. I know what Nkunku's about. I've seen some of his performances for Leipzig. I've seen the number of goals he scored and stuff. But do I really know like if he's that guy? I don't. I think I need to watch him closely week in, week out, and I'm probably going to see that at Chelsea. I don't even know where Nkunku's best position is. I don't, because he plays.
No, me neither.
He plays so many
positions. Across the front three, he plays, doesn't he? Pretty much. So he play anywhere.
I've seen him play 10. I've seen him play 10 or support striker. I've seen him play out wide. I've seen him play as the false 9. Considering he used to play midfield a couple of years back, I don't really know what position Donny plays.
We were linked with him. Unai Emery wanted to sign him when he was more of a central midfielder, like an attacking 8 or a 10. And now he seems to have pushed forward now, and he's across the front three. So, yeah, man, it's obviously a versatile player there.
It's another support striker, another second striker, kind of maybe like a Lautaro Martinez role to an Edin Dzeko type player. An area that is just so stacked, and a very dodgy position in football, because you get all types of players in this area. You know what I mean? You've got your Dele Allis from Tottenham way back when, maybe one of the first Pochettino players will compare to Nkunku. Now people will say that for Kai Havertz as well. Tobs will be happy to know, apparently, according to ESPN, a 20 million bid from Juventus came in for Pulisic. So maybe his Premier League time is coming to an end as well.
He'll do well in Italy, probably.
Yeah, and Loftus-Cheek as well could be going to AC Milan. So that's it on our transfer kind of front at the moment in terms of updates. But in terms of expectations for you guys, because we already know that we got a whole heap maybe that needs to be done on the outgoing. But starting with you, Potts, what is kind of like, what is your realistic expectations of what's going to happen this summer? Because the season's done now. You finished the season off nicely against Wolves, battered them. But I'm hearing people are talking about trying to go again for the title, hit 95 points. You got Champions League as well. Do you actually expect to see a serious summer from your team?
Yeah, man. I mean, that's an understatement. I don't see why we'd go second is good. We ain't going to get that next season. Let's just try and get a couple in and see how we get on and try and get Champions League again. That's awful mentality. We are needing, in my opinion, a huge summer. And I think that the Cronkies have spent a lot of money, but ain't been enough yet. Because all I keep doing is looking up and not seeing us at the top. So we need a big summer. We're finally back in the Champions League, so that is going to help. Everyone says it's massive. I don't think it is, if I'm honest. I think personally there's enough pulling power of the last couple of years for Arsenal to sign some good players, but that will, of course, help. When you're in the Champions League, it does help. So I expect us to spend money. The rumours are that we are going to. I can give you names if you want, but I haven't heard any links at all that are really definitely going to happen. It's all rumour. Rice and Caicedo are the two that midfielders that are being spoken about. I don't see us getting both of them, if I'm honest with you. I would like to get both of them. I think we need both of them, but I don't think we will get. I think we'll get one or the other. A centre-back is needed. Mark Gare, he's the guy that we're looking at Palace. I don't know how much they want, though. I imagine it will be close to Ben White.
80 million was what D was saying, wasn't it?
Yeah,
80 million.
D is a Palace fan on my channel saying that it's going to be 80 million. I mean, wow.
80 million for who?
Mark Gare. That's insane.
Yo,
bless
that's
him.
Wild.
Bless him.
No, that's
bless
crazy.
him. He is a deluded lad. Bless him.
That is absolutely insane.
Yeah. He said Elise 70 million, Mark Gare about 80, and Eze about 80. That was what he was saying. So there we go.
they priced Zaha at 80 million a couple.
Yeah,
years
that's
back.
it. And then no one signed him. Funny enough,
Who came in for Zaha?
No one is paying 80 million.
Who came in for
80
Zaha?
million
At 80
pounds,
million.
man. 80 million pounds.
No
80
one.
million.
No.
Nobody.
No, teams made bids for Zaha. They got knocked back.
I
Who
think
paid out
Everton
the
made
80
one,
million?
didn't they, or
Nobody.
something? But yeah,
Nobody did.
nobody's going to pay that
Nobody
much.
did.
This
No
is the
one's gonna
thing.
pay
If you want to keep players there, then just that's fine. You're gonna like if someone said, "Oh, Madrid want Bukayo Saka, 800 million, then please." I could do things like that, but I'm not a madness. It's not. It's just stupid, man. It's mad. So for me, Mark Guehi is a good centre half. He's definitely an upgrade on what we've got. But there's more players that we need just than Declan Rice. People talk about Declan Rice, Caicedo, like that's great, but I ain't gonna get us the league. Like we need more. I don't want to be seeing Vieira coming on, Nelson coming on, Eddie coming on, Holding coming on. I don't want that. So we're gonna need to replace those man with the players that are gonna be not as much of a drop off. Because I appreciate you're not going to bring on another Bukayo Saka for Saka. You're not going to bring on another Jesus, another Erdegaard, another Martinelli. But you need the drop off to be better than bringing on Reece Nelson, who, to be fair, has been okay, hasn't been outstanding. But when we're bringing on Vieira, like the drop off is massive, man. Eddie and Nketiah did a job, but it's not Jesus. Rob Holding, still 7 years, we're still bringing on this guy. Like, come on, man. We need to forget about that now and spend some serious money. We're going to get some player sales. Don't get me wrong. We're going to be selling some players. We're not going to get a lot of money for it. They're talking about potentially between 8 to 12 players leaving. Some of those are kids. Some of those are going to get as minimal fees. Some of them are going to get Granit Xhaka fees of about 30 million. Kieran Tierney's mentioned. He's probably going to be similar price. It's been said today that through Ornstein that Emil Smith-Rowe is staying at Arsenal. That's good as far as I'm concerned.
Would you have kept him?
Yeah, 100%. He's had an injury season, but I think people forget how good he's been, particularly the season before last with 11 goals from midfield. And I think he's going to be a really good player for us, and he's great cover. So I'd already be seeing him going. If you're going to sell Granit Xhaka, Smith-Rowe, and Kieran Tierney, you need another 3 players on top of what you already need. So we need to actually not sell the good cover players, is what I'm getting at. So there's a lot of work to do. And, people seem to think every time you say we need this, but it's not FIFA, not playing Football Manager, mate. Unbelievable. How old are these kids? 14. Jesus Christ. Like, it's embarrassing. Like, if we're not going to go and buy 6 players, the best we can hope for is second place. So you've got to give the ambition. You've got to
put some on the manager, though. You're talking about getting all the players in, but there's got to be some expectation on the manager to
huge pressure.
Not every manager gets everything they want, and has
huge pressure on him anyway, though. There's huge pressure on him anyway. What I would love to get to is May 2024. We see what Arsenal have done, and we know there's no more excuses about, but he ain't had enough windows. He ain't got enough players. We got not squad depth. I want to see what this manager can do when the process is complete, which I believe is now. So I want to get to the end of next season and know what he's won, because he has to win a trophy for me. So there's no more of this.
Process done. Now it's time to put
done. It's time for there's no more talk
into the team and win shit.
100, bro, 100, and I think that's realistic. I don't think that's me being unrealistic there. Maybe it is. Maybe you 3 think, wow, no, Arsenal are still 3 years away from this.
No.
Process is halfway through. I think no. I think the process is done. We're probably gonna sign players, but I don't know how many. I think we need 5 or 6 players. I honestly do.
I'm gonna go through your squad, and I just want you to tell me who you're selling, right? So goalkeeper situation, I'm guessing is fine at Arsenal.
I would prefer a backup keeper better than Matt Turner, but he's not shambles. But I would prefer. We're not going to buy a keeper.
Yeah, but in your world, this is just like what you would do. You would get rid of Matt Turner and get someone else.
I would get rid of Matt Turner and get a experienced goalkeeper. I like what Chelsea used to do. We used to have like the backup goalkeepers where coming to an end sort of type. That's what I've always liked, that, because your number 2 goalkeeper is never going to get ahead of the number 1 really, unless there's serious competition like Cech and Courtois that year. So that's what I would do. But goalkeeper's not a huge priority really.
Okay, so Zinchenko, Tomiyasu, Holding, Kivior, Saliba, Gabriel, White, Tierney. Who's being sold in the defense for you?
I keep them all apart from Rob Holding, and I sell Rob Holding. I'm not selling Kieran Tierney, man.
Who's buying Rob Holding?
Anyone?
I don't know. Bolton might want him back. Bolton might want him back.
No, don't be silly.
I would say Rob Holding. He's probably going to stay because he's not going to give us much money, and no one will really want him. But he's the only one.
One centre back out, one centre back in.
You got to get rid of him. Surely.
Yeah. For me, he's got to go, but I don't. Oh, he's not on much money a week, and he's probably going to bring us in like a few million. We're not talking much, but yeah, he's the one I would go, man. He's the one that
People
would
said
go.
West Ham would be the perfect place for Holding. Some
You
people
ain't getting
are saying
past
like Tierney should go, but anyway,
Tierney will go because he looks at the side and thinks, "How the hell am I not getting into this side more regularly?" Because I don't think Zinchenko in the last back end of the season, Zinchenko has not been as good as what people make out. He's been fantastic for us, but Kieran Tierney should have been playing more games, and he's not even getting ahead of Kivior in the last few games at the moment. So for me, he's going to go, and probably Newcastle, I imagine, closer to home, be a good signing for them, and I hope he does well, man. If he does go.
If anyone disagrees, by the way, with these sales, feel free to interrupt. But midfielders: Partey, Saka, Odegaard, Smith Rowe, Jorginho, Vieira, Xhaka, El Neni.
Vieira needs to go. Awful player. Don't rate him.
One season, you're just done like that.
I can tell, man. The eye test don't lie to you, man. This guy sucks. He is absolutely dreadful. Like, I've never seen a player so lightweight in my life. He plays a nice
Arteta's
couple
got
of
him ahead of Smith Rowe, though. Arteta has him ahead of Smith Rowe, who you said is staying.
Yeah. At the moment, Smith Rowe's got injury problems. He doesn't look fit. He looks really poor. So that's why Vieira's been getting ahead of him. But again, I don't understand some of these managers' decisions. But this guy is awful, man. He is. I've seen enough already, man. Like, he got 14 assists for Porto, and everyone thought he was going to be the next Mesut Ozil. And I could see after 2 games that he was never going to do anything in an Arsenal shirt, man. So I'm done with him. Everybody else, we need to add to it. Granit Xhaka's going to leave. It looks like he's going to Bayern Leverkusen. So that's one player out. El Neni signed a 1-year extension, so he's staying. He's another one who just like seems to be Arteta's best mate. Jorginho, it's a weird one. Jorginho and El Neni are going to be like, the 2 backups. And then obviously we've got Partey and Xhaka to decide what to do with. I would keep Partey. I can't believe the amount of neutral fans that are saying might as well get rid of Partey. Has no one realised how good he's been this year? Wow. And then you bring in two midfielders for me.
You got Lokonga back as well. You got Lokonga.
Yeah, he's got to go, man.
But Palace, he went on loan to Palace, didn't he?
Yeah, and he's been dreadful there. Apparently,
they're all saying he's shit. They're not right anymore.
I'm going to get to the Loney after. The Loney list has got to be gone through as well. But
who's signing Lokonga?
Forward, you got Jesus.
Company loves him. So.
You got Jesus.
They can find someone to take him. Just need to. They probably just need to be a bit. They probably just need to compromise on the price, but they can find someone to take him.
He's still young. He's still young. He's not old, so he'll have a market. It won't be a top team, but
be a prem.
Jesus, Martinelli, and Nketiah, Trossard, Nelson. So what would you do there?
I like what Nelson's done the last few games, but I think it's time for him to go and get first team football somewhere at the age of 23, coming on to 24 now. He needs to just go and try and play in England somewhere for me. And Eddie, depending on what happens with Balogun, I would look to get rid of Eddie. If someone's going to offer some money for him, I would just get him gone. I don't rate him. Not Arsenal level. He might go down a level and do something, but I don't know. He's done a job for us, but it's not one that I want to see long term at Arsenal, man.
He might bang it I don't know. Eddie's weird because he does score goals.
He does score goals, but then he goes through periods where he's just invisible again. So I don't know. I personally don't want to see him long term in the Arsenal squad, but if we were trying to scrape in the top 4, he might do a job, but we want to try and go to that next level now, man. I
feel like he'd do a job at West Ham as like an Antonio replacement.
Potentially, you know what I mean? Like, depending on
injury prone as well.
Injury prone, you say?
Ings and Scamacca. I don't know.
Yeah, Ings is done. Ings is done out here, man. But yeah, so
what do you mean done?
He's got no future at West Ham.
Is he?
Who hasn't?
You just signed him in January.
Yeah, I know.
Who's signing for then if he's got no future at the club?
What do you mean?
He's not good for us. He's not a good striker for West Ham.
Compared to who? You haven't got any centre forward.
I need to understand it. Tell me.
Well, he just don't fit us. He just don't fit
It don't
So
fit.
what is the West? What do you mean fit though? As in like what is it? Is it he can't hold up the ball? Like what is it? I don't understand.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is literally he's not been able to hold up to the ball for us. He's movement, you know what I mean? I mean, he's movement in terms of knowing where to be in the right place, right time type of thing is good. But in able to try and do the job that Antonio does, it's just so they're two completely different strikers.
But
So
then you want to move away from the job that Antonio was doing, right? And
but this is the problem.
Playing your strikers as flipping battering rams all the time.
Yeah, but this is the problem. If we're keeping Moyes, then that's not possible. This is the big dilemma that we have. I'm not listen. I said if we're keeping.
No,
and
you
while
just said Danny Ings has to go.
Oh,
You just said Danny Ings has to go. You would have said maybe Danny Ings might leave if David Moyes is still here. But no, you said Danny Ings has to go, which implies that you are expecting David Moyes to be here in the summer.
No, I'm living in the present. As of right now, yeah, the 30th of May 2023, Moyes is still the manager, right? As of now. So, as of now, Ings, as long as this man is manager, has no future at West Ham.
Why are we talking about Danny Ings, man? What is going on here?
Because we're talking about Nketiah. I said I would rather have Nketiah than Ings at West Ham.
Okay. I don't think Nketiah is better than Danny Ings, though.
No, but I think he probably would suit us more than Ings, I think.
Maybe what, like, because he's hold up? Because the thing is, I thought Danny Ings' link play has always been quite secure, man. Maybe he's not as strong as Antonio, but I think like his link play with the ball at his feet is quite good. I guess if you play the ball in the channels or in the air and stuff, then yeah, of course he's gonna get beaten. But Danny Ings on the ball,
he's not a runner. Like he's not the type of striker that's gonna be. Yeah, I mean, you can play balls and he's gonna, beat a player with pace or.
He's a fox in the box.
Yeah, that's exactly what he is. He's a fox in the box. He's not like an energetic striker that like we had with Sacco back in the day. And
but surely Scamacca's got. I know I mentioned Nketiah, and I think maybe as an option, but like as maybe a second choice. But surely Scamacca's got to be who you're building your future around up front.
That's all up in the air. It's all up in the air. He might go back to Italy. We don't know. He's been injured again. He's a player that we've signed that doesn't fit Moyes. As long as Moyes is the manager, I don't see how.
Stop this, man! What are you talking about? You are crazy. This guy's been injured all season, and you're trying to blame David Moyes for his not doing.
No, because I'm going
unreal, man. What are you talking about?
I'm going off the games where he's been fit, and
great
the point
Scamacca
I'm making is Scamacca. Scamacca can hold up the ball.
I think Scamacca's got something to him. I can't lie. I think
it's not even the fact I don't rate him. It's the fact that the guy's been injured for most of the time.
I think there's
what's coming out of Lawless's mouth is
saying that he's a
he
bad
might have
player.
to go back.
What did you say? It's the eye test, yeah? It's the eye test, right? The eye test. And I see a player with a lot of talent that does
he's not arguing the talent. He's saying, how can you blame David Moyes when he's been injured all season?
Because I'm saying he doesn't suit the Moyes way. He doesn't suit the Moyesy way. He's not Antonio. Only players like Antonio and Arnautovic.
I can't even. I'm not even getting into this, man.
So battering rams, basically.
Battering rams.
That's it. That's the Moyesy way.
Although even to be honest, Arnautovic had some.
You should sign go ask Pogrebniak to come back from retirement and go sign him. Nikola Zigic, Lukaku.
Adama Traore. Stick it, Moyes, taking wingers and putting them up front. That's what he does. We need wingers to put them and turn them into strikers.
You want Adama Traore?
If we got Moyes, we might as well. We need Antonio clones.
The guy's got no output whatsoever.
Antonio's not even good, man. You're saying you need Antonio clone. Antonio's not good. Like if you are trying to get another Antonio, then you're gonna continue being mudded.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, that's the type of player that fits Moyes.
But this is why your Moyes out, right? This is why you're still Moyes
exactly.
Out. Okay.
This is why I'm Moyes out, regardless of what happens. This is what I've said, because we're really put in a very small box, of what we can do. He tried to deviate from his way this season, and it blew up in his face, and he went back to playing counter-attack, and we've slowly started to get better.
because that's all he
You know-
knows. That's
You
all
know
he
what?
can do.
West Ham, what they're saying in the chat, Tobs, so West Ham should go for Weggy.
What Whitehorse? Oh,
Yeah. And he's not even a good battering ram as well, because he can't. He's not even that good in the air, and he's not really
slow.
strong.
He's slow. Brozier, yeah. What's happening with Brozier? Is he still?
Oh,
See,
here
that
we
was
go
actually
again
Brozier's
with the
first
Brozier talk, just like last summer.
We're
Brozier,
rewinding
Brozier's
to
had
last
a-
summer.
Brozier's had an ACL injury for the whole season, so no, I don't think you'll be going for Brozier.
That's
One more striker that is in this loan list for Arsenal before we move on to a different club's listing for Ruthless sales. But obviously Cedric, Tavares, Pablo Mari still there, Maitland-Niles, Lokonga, Pepe, Balogun, Marquinhos. Balogun is an interesting one.
Yeah, very.
Just aligned himself for the US national team there. So what's going on? Are you keeping any of them names, or is it?
You've
all...
got a lot of trash there, Potts, man.
Yeah, I mean, like that's what I was saying. We're looking to get rid of 8 to 10 players, but most of them are trash. They're like literally going to give us no money. Out of them, I mean, Pepe is going to go for minimal fee. Pablo Maria stayed at Monza. Apparently, there was a deal or some form of contract where we just let him stay there for about 5 million. Cedric's going to go for us like pennies. Lokonga and Tavares, because of their age and how highly rated they were when we signed them, I think we can get a bit of money for, but I'm not so sure we'll get much. Balogun, I want to see him in England, man, because when he was at Middlesbrough on loan, he was poor, but he's gone over to France and killed it. And a lot of people say it's a farmers league. So I'd like to see him in England on loan. He wants first team football and he wants, I think, to go. But I think that's the only one we could get some serious money for. That would be, I think Balogun would be a good shout for West Ham, Lawless, if you was thinking of someone you'd like to see up top. Maybe you take a chance on him.
If we
play
get
the
Will
boys' way?
Still, if he brings Will Still with him, you know.
There you go. Will Still and Balogun together at West Ham, you know.
The dream team. The dream team.
Yeah. Money and Rice. There you go. Player and money for Rice. But no, I would go with that, Matisse. Most of those players you've mentioned are going to be leaving. There's Charlie Patino as well. They're talking about potentially he wants to leave and play first team football somewhere. He's been good on loan at Blackpool. They've really rated that guy. I don't think he's going to make it at Arsenal, so we might get some money for him as well. So yeah, man, there's a few players that will probably be going.
Okay, we'll go to Tottenham probably after, because I know Lawless rates his players very highly, so it's not going to be a long list.
Yeah, he doesn't want to sell any of them. He just wants to get rid of Moyes and keep them all.
Matt, after the chili effects and the retake, effects aren't the retake demanded. Listen, bro, we did the challenge. You know what I mean, the second time, I tried to pull a fast one. I tried to get away with it. Unfortunately, there's cameras. Yeah, there's cameras. There's skullfuggeries. There's people lurking. It is what it is. But I did pull the wool over most people's eyes, to be fair. So until the chat started going off and getting way too loud, bunch of snitches. Felix can't fit in Poch's high intensity system. Listen, it is what it is. Fair enough. Still a big talent for me though. LJ Brown, man, hold that after you tried to pull a Copperfield with the chip. How are you feeling? I'm actually all right. You know, I'm actually not too bad. I think if I died. Nah, listen, nah. I had to take a couple shits, but I think if I had digested the entire thing, I think it would have been a long day. I think today's content would have been cancelled, to be honest. Ugarte is a tough tackler and good ball carrier, says Joseph. Edu cancelled summer holiday, expecting to be busy. Ash, we'll see. Put the money where the mouth is. And Edu's we won't overpay attitude, which people praised on Mudryk saga, has the potential to hurt us when going for world-class players. Potentially, yeah, there will be bidding wars for Caicedo. And if you don't put the money up front, then most likely someone else will, and they'll get the player. I
want to see us go for plan A, get plan A over the line this summer, Matisse, because
sometimes you have to overpay. Some people would have said that Liverpool overpaid for Van Dijk. Liverpool overpaid for Van Dijk. Liverpool maybe overpaid for Alisson, for a goalkeeper, you know. But listen, sometimes you have to do it if you rate the player highly.
Players teams really don't want to sell. You have to overpay, my friend.
Are you mentioning Declan Rice on that one? Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's
No, he's not. He's not mentioning Declan Rice because he said he's now worth 90 million. He wants him to go for 90 million to buy him.
No. That's the buy-in price. That's the buy-in price. That's the Bayern Munich price.
Absolute muppet. Clueless.
That's the buy. Every West Ham has said that.
You're actually a
Every West Ham fan have said that. We give Bayern a discount. You know what I mean?
Why would you give them a discount?
Absolutely embarrassing.
So wait, you're telling me you wouldn't take less for Kane if it meant he went abroad versus locally? If he played in the
No.
Prem against you,
No, I
Who'd you
would.
take?
I would, but I'm just saying.
There you go.
You're not. No, but you're not competing with the teams that Declan Rice is gonna go to. So
I mean, it doesn't matter. You just don't want Rice playing against you, innit?
okay, fair.
Yeah.
Well,
But
There you go.
to be honest, no, I would want the same money for Harry Kane. I would want the same money for Harry Kane. I can't lie.
Really?
did you guys take less for Modric from Real Madrid than you would
That's
have got?
different, though. That's different because Modric, that was Chelsea. That's different. That was a principled thing. Like we weren't. It's not that we wanted to take less money. It's that Real Madrid offered us less money, and we made an agreement with Modric that he could leave. He could leave the club, and they came in for him. So we just wanted to sell him to Chelsea.
Yeah,
There you
Fair.
go. It's the same thing, so.
With
It's not
Tottenham
really the
squad,
same thing, though, is it?
I think you're almost certain, unless he goes to United, you're almost certain to lose him to a London club, which is going to hurt. But that may be the case.
When you say a London club, well, no, I mean, like, obviously Man United. I still think Man City, people ain't looking at Man City close enough. Yeah, then
Why would Man
Chelsea,
City spend that kind of money on Rice?
well,
When they could probably get cheaper alternatives and players that like.
well,
I don't
why
think-
can't Arsenal get cheaper alternatives then?
I think Arsenal's midfield is more of in dire need of Declan Rice than Man City's. Gundogan, I think, is staying. Rodri, Calvin Phillips was signed last summer. He'll probably get an opportunity to stay for the year. They got a buyout on
No,
Lavia.
because what we're hearing is a Phillips plus cash deal for Rice.
No, it's not. I heard that, and then it's come out. Who was it? Was it Ornstein or someone had said Calvin Phillips will be staying at Manchester City this summer? So
they got a buyout on Lavia as well. So that'd be. And if you was to take that deal, I think you'd be quite silly because Calvin Phillips struggled with injuries last 2 seasons now. In his Leeds season, his last Leeds season, he was struggling massively. So if you took that deal and Phillips was out for an extended period, you'd have nobody. So
Lawless still hasn't told us who he wants to replace Rice. I can't get an answer from him. I've asked him 4 times. He won't tell me.
Maybe it's Guendouzi. I don't know. But I'm gonna
imagine that, and then imagine that after all the Arsenal fans used to be like, Guendouzi's better than Rice. Watch them flip if we got Guendouzi. Watch them flip. Don't lie. Don't lie.
I never said Guendouzi's better than Rice. What are you talking about?
I would be shocked if he went to Bayern, but maybe he will. But yeah, there have been some Bayern Munich.
Tuchel spoke to him on the phone apparently, and had a positive conversation.
Bayern, listen, man. Bayern, come on, Bayern are all talk, man. Like they're looking for a striker this summer, right? That's going to cost them peas. Are they really going to drop 100 million on Declan Rice? I don't see it.
I think this is agents trying to get a bidding war started for me.
I don't even think it's agents.
From Bayern.
I think there's interest. But I just don't think they can compete with the English clubs from a financial perspective. I don't think they'll pay the amount that the English clubs are willing to pay for Rice.
Fair enough. I'm gonna go through the Tottenham team, and Tobs, whenever you want somebody to be sold, just stop me.
This will be fun.
This will be fun.
Toby wants about 2 players to stay.
The reason why I'm doing it this way is because your team on your club website is gone in the order of shirt number, so it's just fucking weird. Anyway, Hugo Lloris
sold.
Okay, damn.
Wow.
Feel free to slander them if you wish as well. Or this one will probably be more respectful, so I'll move on. Skip, Højbjerg.
So Skip, bench player at most.
Okay.
Højbjerg, sell.
Okay. Sanchez.
This is your player of the season, I thought.
Let's pause on Højbjerg. Højbjerg's a big one.
Yeah.
Toby told me he was one of his favorite players.
I like Højbjerg though. I like Højbjerg. I like his personality. I think he's a leader, man. But I just don't. I'm sick to death of seeing how erratic his performances are when Bentancur is not there with him. It's just too much, man. He's just too volatile a footballer. It doesn't make sense. Off the pitch, he's great. He says the right things, and he's a good role model behind the scenes, but on the pitch he's just too erratic, man. Ideally, if we had an established first team midfield, right, and you had Højbjerg coming in and out of the team in rotation, it wouldn't be that bad. It wouldn't even be bad. It would be calm, right? Because I don't actually think he's a horrible player, but he's just too inconsistent. And now, when he's there, managers always play him. He always gets played, always gets a lion's share of minutes, and he's not good enough to warrant the amount of minutes he gets. So I would much rather we see Spurs move him on, use the younger players in rotation, right? And bring in two new midfielders, man. So unfortunately, it's him that has to that takes the chop for me. So yeah, I'll get rid of him.
Davinson Sanchez was a sale as well, wasn't he?
Easy. He's horrible. He's the worst player we have.
Gee, worst player in the whole squad.
Yes, yeah, he's horrible.
Bloody hell.
I agree with that. He is absolutely embarrassing.
Damn. We got Son, Richarlison, Harry Kane, Emerson Royale.
Wait. So the Son one, for the right price, I would sell him, but I don't think he is going to be sold this summer.
Okay.
And I'm not mad at him being sold this summer. However, he cannot be an undisputed starter for Spurs next season. He can't. He just can't. He has to be rotated like some of the other attackers. He can't just be playing week in, week out, especially when he's stinking out the joint. Has to be rotated. Kane
also lost you £100 as well, so you obviously hate on him.
Yeah, I've paid him already. I've paid him already. So
if you Lawless, you got it.
Yeah.
Got the
Yeah.
money.
Oh yeah, I forgot to say that. Yeah.
What was he paid? Hold on a second.
Weasel.
Did he pay you in pennies?
No, he
couldn't
bank
be bothered.
transferred it. Right? He bank transferred it. Yeah. After agreeing, he had remember on the show, he had the £100 there, and he was showing it, going, "This is yours. I'm going to give it to you end of season." Yeah. He was like, "I want to give you the satisfaction."
No, I like
and
that.
we were
That's
supposed to have a
good,
big
Fair play.
handing over on
He was
camera.
begging me. He's like, "Oh no, where's the cash? Where's the cash?" I said, "Shut up, man. Just take it back."
Look at this guy. Like, I'm disgusted by that. I'm absolutely disgusted by that.
Just spend your money wisely. Don't spend it on another.
I need a trophy or something to say, like, here, was a visual representation of your failure to understand the limitations of Heung-min Son this season.
What was the goal margin again?
It
was he had to get within 10 goals of Haaland.
I didn't think Haaland would score 35. I thought he'd score maybe like 20 to 25 league goals. I didn't think he'd score 35. So.
I want to see if I can actually. Where is this? I want to see if I can. Yeah, there it is.
I expected Son to score minimum 17, 18. So that would mean Haaland would have to hit 30.
But I also think, listen, he's been shit, he's been shit, and unfortunately, the team hasn't really catered to his strengths much. So it's been a very bad cocktail this season. But yeah, he's one. He still has his uses, right? He's still a Lengman in the final third, but he's just far too limited in the other aspects of his game outside of the final third for me to be an undisputed starter next year. That needs to change. Kane, it depends on him, to be honest. I would love to keep Harry Kane, but I could also be at peace with him being sold. Like, he's got a year left on his deal. He probably wants to leave. In my opinion, it makes sense to sell him this summer if he does want to leave and we get the right bidding, than to keep him for one more year and lose him for nothing. I can understand the argument.
Apparently, Levy wants to keep him.
No, I can understand the thing. Yeah, I can understand the argument of keeping him for one more year, because you get one more year to try and convince him to stay. It means that you don't have to do like lots to replace him, because we already have a lot of work to do this summer. The last thing we need to add to that is to replace literally the best performing player that we've had in Premier League history, right? So I can understand the argument to keep him, especially with a new manager, because you could say, oh, imagine if Spurs get the right appointment at the right players with Harry Kane in the team, he could get you back into the Champions League and then he could leave you or whatever. But for me, if he wants to leave and the bids are there, just let him go. Literally, just let him go. Like,
how much do you reckon?
100 million. I think that's a fair price for Harry Kane.
100 million, one year left.
Yes.
Similar to the Eden Hazard kind of deal then.
Eden Hazard cost more. With a year left. 100 million.
Bloody hell.
I don't believe that Spurs should just sell him just for the sake of selling him. I'm saying sell him if he wants to leave and we get the right price.
Bloody hell. Would anybody here still, like, if it was feasible, would you pay 100 million with a year left, or would you just wait out?
I would. I'd love to see Harry Kane at Arsenal be brilliant.
Man's hit 30 goals. 30
Sol
goals.
Campbell, part 2, yeah?
I'd take him. He's going to guarantee you 30 goals a season. He's never going to come to Arsenal, but
yeah, I think if he can bang them goals in that shit team, like, I feel like if you're Man United or someone who needs it, even Chelsea, right? If they would even deal with you,
definitely Chelsea. Can you imagine him with Nkunku running off of him? Fuck me, that would be ridiculous.
If he's going to go in he's going Man United. If he's going to go stay in England, in my opinion,
Harry Kane is the perfect striker for what I need in my team. Like,
he's the perfect striker for what most people need, isn't he?
Yeah,
like, let's be real. The guy's had an unreal season. People aren't going to talk about it because of Haaland. Like, you look at what he's done in a shit side.
I think even leaving him out the team of the year didn't feel right. I know that Haaland has to play in that team of the year, but you have to maybe find a way to get 2 strikers because
it's hard.
Or play Harry Kane in the 10 because he has to be. It just feels like he has to be in there. Man's got 30 goals. 30 goals. Like, that's
the only team he wouldn't fit in is West Ham because he doesn't play the Moisey way, so he wouldn't be able to fit in there. But everyone else, he'd be all right.
But can I also say, I think the fact that he's only got 3 assists just goes to show the poor finishing from the players around him. Because
I don't think that's fair. Fair.
Has he not been creating as many chances?
No, he hasn't. I think his general play this season has actually been quite poor. I think from what you would expect from Harry Kane in terms of his passing, playmaking and stuff, I don't think it's been anywhere near as good as you would expect from Kane in terms of the consistency. You've seen fleeting moments of it, but we've not seen it consistent throughout the season. But what we have seen is the goal scoring. We've seen a consistently ruthless goal scorer this season. So, I would love to keep Harry Kane. I think either way, whether Spurs keep Son, Kane, all of these players, we need to change the way we play as a team, and we need to start pressing. And some of these attackers, they don't really press. So the next manager that comes in needs to find the right combination of players to play, right, to enable Spurs to become a pressing side. And if that means dropping Kane a little bit deeper and pressing the wide men, if that means dropping Son occasionally and playing maybe a Richarlison and Kulusevski or bringing in another attacker, then so be it. But we even with Harry Kane's 30 league goals, we simply cannot continue to play the same way we have played this season. It's not going to end well. It's not going to end well.
Yeah. Would you rather sell him and get the money or let him go on a free next season?
I would rather sell him and get the money.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I would. I don't like if we lose him on a free transfer.
That is mad.
If we lose him on a free transfer, the best case scenario is a new manager's come in and delivered us Champions League qualification, which would net off the 100 million that we would have been able to earn off Harry Kane this summer as a result of not being in the Champions League, right? But that's best case scenario. There's going to be much tougher competition for the Champions League spots next season. We've got a big job on our hands to actually flush out the dross in this team as well. And even though we're playing 1 game a week, I don't expect Tottenham to be in the Champions League spots next year. So what we're saying then, Harry Kane leaves on a free transfer next year. Spurs aren't in Champions League. Spurs don't get Champions League football, and we basically have to try and replace him with 100 million less. That doesn't really make natural sense to me.
No, I agree. I think you need to try and cash in if you can, because it's not like Levy's a free spending kind of owner as well. So,
would you sell to Chelsea? Like, if they come in, would you sell?
I wouldn't sell.
He would never sell to us. It doesn't matter what his club would be potentially going into administration. He still wouldn't sell to us.
Like,
what clubs would you sell? What clubs would you sell to in England?
Man United,
not Chelsea. Yeah.
That's it. That's the only one. Not Newcastle, not Man United.
No, he sold to Newcastle, and I'm sure he would.
I don't think he'd go to Newcastle.
Even with Champions League.
What about West Ham we get Qatari owners? What about West Ham gets Qatari owners?
And I don't think Newcastle need him. They've got Isak and Wilson.
He's just ignored you.
You know what? Yeah, I was thinking about that.
What did you say?
I don't think.
I said, what about West Ham? If we get these Qatari owners coming,
Can I say though? Listen, I don't think.
I'm not even going to dignify that with a response.
That's a real rumor.
I don't think Newcastle need him, but Wilson's quite injury prone, right? And you wouldn't rely on Wilson to play 38 games, and we've seen Isak play wide left quite a bit as well. If you got Harry Kane up front for Newcastle with Isak to the left and Almiron to the right, and St. Maximin and Wilson off the bench, that is quality depth. That's obviously Gordon and Murphy are there as well, but that is quality depth for a Champions League campaign. And people have been talking about maybe adding a creator in there, maybe a Maddison. Kane ticks both boxes. You get goals and you get creativity with the passing. So I think if Newcastle were to do that with the money that they have, that would be unbelievable. That would be mad business, because that's the type of move that says, listen, we are not going anywhere. Even with Champions League football, we plan to be minimum still be in the top 4 next season. That's a statement signing. It'll be Newcastle's first, like, everybody shut the fuck up signing. And I think it'd be brilliant. And I think it would be a good move for Kane, because he doesn't necessarily piss off any of the Tottenham fans as well. I don't think he does at all. And Newcastle could win something next year. You never know. They could go again in the cups and they could get to another final. So Ricky says if Levy takes the risk of keeping him, Kane may have to sign a new contract, because United and Chelsea won't wait for him and get a new striker in this window.
That's a great point. And that's another point, I guess, that you could make as an argument for keeping him. If you keep him for one more year, even if he does want to leave, it shortens his options on where he could go. But my argument for that is, if you have Harry Kane available at zero pounds in transfer fees, you will make space for Harry Kane. I think most teams will make space for Harry Kane, which is why that argument also, as valid as it is, my preference would always be to make sure that Spurs can maximize the best out of Harry Kane from a financial perspective. It won't sit right with me that our best performing Premier League player leaves the club for nothing. Like that just doesn't sit right with me at all.
Yeah.
Can I ask you quick about? Sorry, Matisse. Can I ask you quick about Kulusevski? Because they were saying yesterday or the day before that there's no obligation for you to buy him now because you didn't get Champions League football, but you're still trying to sign him for 26 million. Is that
No, so Dan Kilpatrick and Alistair Gold have both come out with articles today that Spurs are planning to confirm the permanent signing of Kulusevski over the next couple of weeks or something like that. So it looks like he is going to stay, but I'm with you. I didn't understand why there was such confusion and ambiguity in the deal. Like, it was a straightforward thing for us that has now become a little bit muddied, and I don't really understand why. But I expect Kulusevski to be with us next season, and I hope he's with us next season. I would love for Harry, and also as well, all this Harry Kane chat, I would love for Harry Kane to stay. I think we can try and redefine the way we're playing, even with a player like Harry Kane. I know he can't press, but I feel like a good coach can help us become a front-footed team with Harry Kane in the side. Maybe you don't have to lead the press with him, but there's things that you can try and do, in my opinion. I feel like a player that good, you want to keep him in the team, but ultimately it's up to Harry Kane. I don't know if he wants to stay. I think he wants to leave, and the fact that he hasn't signed a new deal, I'm not banking on it, but my expectation is I think he'll leave this summer.
I think he might stay and just go on a free.
I hope you're right.
Let's see what other names you're going to sell, because I've got more here. Emerson Royale, Perisic.
So wait, you're going fast. So you mentioned Richarlison as well. Richarlison, listen, Richarlison he's been probably flop of the year.
Flop of the season. Yeah.
So I can understand the argument for selling Richarlison if a good offer comes in, and I actually wouldn't be opposed to it at all. But at the same time, I'm not opposed to keeping him. I feel like he's still a good player. I think his individual level has been whack this season, not been good enough. But I also feel like he's had a lot of mitigating circumstances that have gone against him. I do rate his mentality, and I do think he is, above all things, a good Premier League forward who can actually score goals for Tottenham. So if the new manager that comes in wants to keep Richarlison, I'm calm with that, man, because I feel like he can. I feel like he's got something to offer.
What do you think his ceiling is, though? Like, what's his max? Because obviously at Watford it's hard to judge, and Everton, like, he's never going to maybe get 20 goals there because of the way those teams play. But do you think he can be a 20-goal a season striker for you
in the league, as in 20 league goals? I don't know if he can be 20 league goals. I think he can definitely give us 50. I think if he was playing as the front man, the striker for the entire campaign for Spurs, I think he can be. I think he could probably hit around 16, 17 league goals.
Okay.
I would want more. But it depends on how many Sons getting and how many the right wingers getting. Because I want more goals from him and Kulusevski. Kulusevski's tally is pants this season, really bad. So I want
most he got for Watford was 5, and most he got for Everton was 13. So maybe
he hit double figures 3 out of 4 seasons for Everton. I think if he's playing consistently in a role that he feels comfortable in, right, the team wouldn't. I think we'd have to adjust our game to suit Richarlison, right? We wouldn't play the same way we did with Harry Kane because we can't facilitate. He can't facilitate anywhere near as good as Harry Kane, but I think he'll score goals, man. Like he can score goals. He may not be a 30-goal season and all-come striker, but I think if he was the leading man for Spurs, I would expect 20 plus goals in all competitions for Richarlison.
Yeah, I think for any team that wants to be at the top or even contesting in the top 4, top 5, you have to have a striker that's trying to hit minimum 20 in all comps. If you're not getting that, then and you're starting enough games, then there's a problem. Obviously we spoke on Kane, and then it's Emerson Royale and Perisic, the 2 wing backs.
Listen, Emerson has improved this season, and the one thing I've maintained, even though I don't like Emerson, is, and I've said this from start to finish, Emerson is not a bad defender. Been saying it. I said this at the start of the season, and I'm still saying it now. If there's one thing Emerson Royale can do to a decent standard, it's defend. He's not a bad defender. Unfortunately, that's where it ends, because when we do see him in the opposition half, he just isn't that good. But listen, Emerson has improved, man. I feel like he's a lot more comfortable receiving the ball infield. He's played in this weird, like, inverted role for Spurs several games this season. I really argued 2-0 with a lot of my mates in the New Spurs Order chat about Emerson, because I wanted him gone, right? But I think with Pedro Porro now, who seems like he's so offensive minded, right?
Yeah,
he's
very
good going forward, but he's really bad defensively. I think Emerson staying right now is probably the best thing for us as a team, because he's one of the few players we have in our back line that can actually defend. So he gives us that option when we want to go and be a bit more defensive. If we want to be a bit more solid playing some of the bigger sides like a Man City or something, we can probably push Pedro Porro on and play him right wing and play Emerson as a right back. Do you get what I'm saying? For that reason and that reason only, I would say that he can stay, but I want it to be a very short stay. I would ideally want to move on Emerson within the next year or 2.
Pedro Porro's got really good ball striking technique, man. Some of the finishes are really, really good. And the crossing as well.
What were they calling him? Pedro Porridge, Pedro Porno, all of this
he's
rubbish.
Still Pedro Porno. He's still Pedro Porno, but you know what I mean?
Pedro Porno, Pedro Porridge. Well,
we'll see how he does in his first full season. We'll see, but he can't be getting ripped up defensively.
But because he's not a good defender. I've literally said he's a bad defender.
Would you stick with wing backs then, if that's the case?
No, we would have to change the way we play to accommodate some of these guys, right?
Yeah.
Pedro Porro is not the only fullback in Europe that is awesome going forward, that is good going forward and is terribly bad defensively. We see it littered across. Cancelo was playing at Man City, and could he defend?
Yeah.
Trent was playing at Liverpool. Could he defend? Zinchenko has been one of the best left backs in the league this season. Can he defend? If you have a well-structured team with a proper coach, you can mitigate for players like Pedro Porro. You can.
It's mad that fullbacks like seriously cannot defend. Like the game's gone. It's mad. Like they can't even defend competently to the point where you have to mitigate the whole team, like you're saying. That is crazy. If you'd said that's the case 10 years ago when the likes of Ashley Cole were around, people would have been like, "Raw, what is going on?"
We've still got Jed Spence there as well. So
I was gonna just bring up Jed Spence and Regulon as well, because they're both still contracted.
How have they done? How have they both done on loan? I have no idea.
Regulon's been injured for the whole season. He's had a really bad injury, so it's not been a good loan experience. I feel kind of sorry for Regulon, to be honest, because me personally, I would keep Regulon and have him as backup. I would have him in rotation with Destiny Udoji coming in next year. I would get rid of Sessegnon because I think he's flipping rubbish, and I wanted this guy gone last summer. I don't even know how he kept. I wanted him gone, and I wanted them to keep Regulon as backup for Perisic.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Yeah, because I know you're not a fan of Sessegnon at all. It's a shame
everyone got hyped after that. What was it, Southampton or something? The first game of the season.
He did really well at Fulham. He did.
Who was hyping him though?
I'm talking about against Southampton. Remember that game he had, like first game of the season or something for Spurs, and he was like balling. I think it was against Southampton.
Yeah, he played well. He played well, and the whole narrative was, can you give us more of this? Because you've been chosen by Conte to be the first, to be the rotational left back with Perisic. Regulon was basically banished, right? So can you show us something? Can we get more of this? And we haven't.
Okay. Eric Dyer, Danjuma, and Romero.
Eric Dyer, get rid. Please get rid. I don't think they will get rid.
Your fans love him, man.
I want him gone. I want him gone.
And he loves you.
Danjuma is a weird one, because I think for the price, it's not that bad. Like, I think he's a good player. I think he's got qualities. He can dribble. He's a good goal scorer.
Should have played him more, I think.
Strong, I wouldn't be too mad if they were to pull the trigger on Danjuma, but at the same time, I would like for a new manager to come in and actually decide, do you want Danjuma, right? And if you do want Danjuma, where are you going to play him? Is he going to play on the left? Is he going to cover in the middle? Is he going to play on the right? I don't know, man. So I guess he's probably going to leave. So let's call that one sell. Romero, obviously keep. No chance. We should sell him. He's someone that we need to. He's someone that we need in our future squad.
Laughing.
Let him laugh.
I'm just laughing at 24Z's comment. He's just saying, so give a monologue. No more words.
I didn't.
They really don't like Dyer.
I said get rid. Yeah, like get rid straight.
They really don't like Dyer. Straight.
I've given him my chance. Get rid.
You spoke on Sessegnon already. Fraser Foster, Kulusevski, spoken on already, but
Foster, thank you for your service, but he's done well this season. But yep, off you pop.
Okay. Damn, I thought he was a bit of a hologram at times, but I haven't watched everything.
No, he's been good for Spurs. He's been really good for Tottenham.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. To be fair, for his age and it's just for a backup, can't really complain. We spoke on Poro, Tanganga, Lucas Moura, Bonehead.
Tanganga, get rid. Nice guy, but just ain't at the level. Need to sell, and needs to move on for his own development. Lucas Moura, boy. If I speak up, I'm in big trouble. So let's.
What a goal though, to say see you later.
What a goal, bro! What a goal on the final day. Jesus, I was incredible.
Rubbish defending.
Rubbish defending. Then we got Sarr, Bentancur, Ben Davies as well.
Sarr, I would keep, have him in rotation, give him more minutes. Bentancur, obviously keep. We just need to wait and see how he is when he comes back from his injury in November. And who was the other one?
Ben Davies as well.
Ben Davies. Ideally, I would sell, but at the same time, you don't want to change too much. And I think defensively, because he can cover at left back and he can cover at centre back in a free, I wouldn't be too upset if he was kept. But we can't have both him and Dyer being retained. At least one of the two need to leave.
He's like a depth piece for you, I guess. And then you got Leng, I like to call him, and Basuma.
Get rid.
Damn, Leng gone, and Basuma.
Basuma, you get rid of Basuma.
Come on, you for real?
You just said get rid, no?
You get rid of Lumley.
No, he said yeah.
Oh, you said them together. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay. What about Basuma? Would you keep Basuma?
Absolutely. He needs to be starting for Spurs next season.
Okay. And quickly on your, I forgot you had all these players out on loan. So we spoke on Reguilon. I guess you keep him, wouldn't you, as a depth piece, right?
I keep him, yeah.
Yeah. You got Harry Winks, Brian Gill.
Oh, really?
Brian Hill, I would loan him to a Premier League club.
You got Lo Celso as well.
Get rid, please.
Jed Spence.
Jed Spence, I would loan him to a Premier League club.
And Ndombele.
Oh,
hey!
This one hurts me to the soul because this one
just won the league, man.
Yeah,
just won.
My head is saying, "Listen, let's just try and move him on," but my heart is saying, "I've got one more in me." Right?
Wow.
My heart is saying, "I've got."
This is your Kai Havertz, isn't it?
My heart, honestly, my heart is saying I might have one more in me because we literally we now have Basuma. We have Bentancur, we have Sarr, we have Skip. So we have the workmen. We have the workmen in the midfield. Now we need the technicians. Now we need the ballers, right? We need 2 ballers, right? 2 new midfielders. But we could reduce potentially the need to buy 2 midfielders if we could get a tune out of Ndombele. But again, this is also
Tottenham fans having a rational love for this guy.
They won't give up. They will not give up on this guy, will they?
So many
fans.
fans.
Do you know why though? Do you know why? Genuinely, do you know why though? Do you know why? Do you know why it's difficult to? Because we know he's lazy and stuff, but do you know why it's difficult? It's difficult because we are a team that are literally starved of technicians. And he is a technician, bro. He's a technician. There's no midfielder in our team that can do what he can do on the ball. There's none. It's what he does off the ball.
That great on the ball. Or you guys just that shit.
No, in comparison to our midfielders, it's a bit of both, bro. It's a bit of both.
It feels like it, you know. It feels.
That's what I just said.
Yeah,
it's a bit of both. You think, bro? You think Skip can't do 1/10 of the things Ndombele can do on the ball?
Why don't you just sell Skip? Why would you keep Skip as a depth piece?
Skip is homegrown and he's an okay destroyer. Like that's what he is. He's a defender. Like he defends, but he's just there in it, man. We need numbers sometimes.
All right, fair enough. This question is for you as well, Tobs. What's this talk about data-driven approach being talked up by Levy and co? What the hell was Spurs transfer strategy so far? More waffle from Daniel.
It's just more waffle. We were told that Spurs use state-of-the-art equipment, blah blah blah, over the years, and cutting-edge technology, and now we're hearing data-driven approach, blah blah.
They don't know what they're doing, man. They're clueless. They don't know what they're doing today.
This man waffled so much. I'd be punching my TV, punching all the screens with the guy.
The Ndombele one, call it 50-50. Call it 50-50 for me.
All right, we'll call it 50-50. It's mad. It's mad.
You want him to stay. You might as well just say stay. We can see
he's such a Kai Havertz, and they don't even know it. That's what I love about him. Yeah. The only thing about him is that he maybe you could say he's a better ball carrier.
You need a nickname equivalent to Shy Havertz, Matisse. You need to come up with a Shy Havertz type nickname for Ndombele.
I should. I know. I've called him Ndombele. That's what I've called him. That's my nickname.
People call him Ndombele. That's what they call him.
Ndombele. I say Ndombele because he doesn't always look like he's well. Now West Ham, it's gonna be quick because they're all staying. He rates all of them, so it shouldn't take too long for you, Lawless.
Only a couple, I reckon, will be leaving here.
Yeah, only a couple. So I'll go through these. You stop me if you want to sell one of your prize possessions. Fabianski and Arola.
I would have moved on Fabianski, but reports he's going to be our backup striker to Areola, which is how it should have been this season. So
your backup striker, raw.
No backup. What am I saying? Striker, goalkeeper. Listen, he might suit Moyes up front. He might play the Moyes.
He could be the Antonio of the team.
He was a bargain, that Areola, man. Absolute bargain.
Oh, yes, I will be doing the watch along for sure. For West
Ham. I tell you what, if he fucking wins us that trophy, it'll have been a bargain, and I'll be vindicated. So let's just wait till the 7th. Yeah, wait till the 7th.
We got Ben Johnson, Aaron Cresswell.
Get him out of here. Get Ben Johnson out of here. Get him out of here.
He's shit.
Get him out of here. He's been shocking. He showed promise early on in his career. And he's been shocking, and he seemed like
what promise was that he showed? He looks awful.
No, he did. He showed some promise, like early on, like when he first come in at right back. But he's been shocking this season. His attitude has been
really poor for someone who seemed like such a good lad. You know, we had the thing where the players walk around and clap the fans. He was like the only one who didn't clap. He didn't even acknowledge the fans. He just walked, and it's like, you've been that shit, and you can't even say, "Oh, I'm sorry for being shit."
Nah, some of these nicknames for Undom Belly are killing me. Someone called him Undom Basic. Somebody called him Undom Bench Boy. Undom Donut. No, some of these nicknames.
Tobs is not liking this.
He's just ignoring it.
Yo,
I don't really care, to be honest. They can call him whatever they want.
yeah.
They can call him whatever they want. I don't really care.
Don't belly.
Endom
Yo, it's mad.
Oh,
That's
God.
mad.
Can't wait to chat sometimes.
So we got Creswell, we got Zuma, Kufau.
Creswell, I'd get rid, but they've given him an extension. He's going in his 10-year, but he has to pay for his own testimonial. They're making him pay for his own testimonial. But I would personally have moved him on because I'm not about the sentimentality. We need to look at like Pep and say, look, when you're done, you're done. We don't just keep players for sentimentality. Zuma, keep.
Okay. Obona.
Obona, again, same thing. Been great servant, but it's time to move on. It's at that stage. Sentimentality has to go out the window. We need to be ruthless. Love Obona. I'd love to keep him around the club in some capacity, but we need to be upgrading the whole, even our backup centre back. So I think win the trophy and goodbye. Thank you, Obona. Love you, Uncle Obona.
Oh, that's so sad.
Uncle Ogbonna, man called him Uncle Ogbonna.
That's what they're calling. Yeah, that's his nickname.
Wow.
He does look like an uncle. I'm looking at him right now. He does look like an uncle. We got Kerr here as well. Kerr here.
Kerr's staying. He's class. He's quality.
He's improved towards the end of the season.
He's the future of West Ham.
Yeah, the future.
Yeah, I think he is. I think he improved towards the end of the season. I think he really did.
We got Aguerd and Emerson as well. For now's Lanzini, Paqueta.
Lanzini's again, you know, he's been a decent player for us, but time to move on. I think he's going to go back to River Plate. So
okay.
Yeah. I think it's his last year. He's going on a free. So thank you, Lanzini. Good.
Fair enough. Flynn Downs, Cornet, Souček.
Cornet. Souček. Yep, Souček. I would sell. Great guy.
What?
Time to go. What?
I'm joking. I'm just winding you up, man. I'm winding you up.
No, Cornet. I'm giving him one more chance.
What was the verdict on Souček?
He said sell.
I would sell him. I heard Spurs need a replacement for Højbjerg, so
man, you imagine if that happened, Tobs would that breaking news live stream from Tobs would be one for the ages.
I'd be there for it.
He definitely getting the Spurs team ahead of Bentancur because he's much better, isn't he, Lawless? So
that would be
that's what Robbie said. Cornet.
That's what you agreed with. Absolute joker.
What about
Flynn? Agree with the Don Robbie, mate.
What about Flynn Downs?
Flynn Downs, I'm interested to see what he can do next season, given more game time. Maybe get out from under Rice's shadow. Whoa, why is everyone sitting on Flynn Downs? You know nothing about Flynn Downs. What do you know about Flynn Downs? What do you know about Flynn Downs? What do you know? You ain't watched him. You ain't watched no Flynn Downs. What? Why are we laughing on Flynn Downs?
I'm sure Paqueta is gonna love that. I'm sure Brazil international Paqueta is gonna love that comment. You're losing your captain Declan Rice, and this is your replacement. Oh,
no, I'm just saying, like, look, he's come up from the championship, still fairly young player. There's some time in there. There's some time for him. So next season is the season where we want to start to give him a bit more game time, let him show what he's capable of.
24.
So yeah, it's 24. So, and he, like I said, first season from coming from the championship, didn't get to a ton of game time because he's behind Paqueta and Rice and Moyes' idol Souček. You know, he's love Souček. So the competition for him has been fierce. But we'll see next season. Cornet, I'm giving him one more season to learn the offside rule. Desperately, he needs to figure that one out. But a lot of fans want him gone. but I think it's unfair. He had a big injury.
Yeah, that's unfair, man. Got to give him a season of fitness.
Exactly.
Connor Coventry and Declan Rice, last midfielders.
Oh, Connor Coventry, young player. He's getting to the last legs of his opportunities, man. He needs to break in, and he might need to go. He might need to go and pursue first team football. We can't keep loaning him out and all of this stuff, and it's a shame. I think there's a talented player there, but I can't see him breaking through. Obviously, Rice, I would keep. I would keep the shit out of Rice, honestly. So
he might not want to go when you win the Conference Cup, man. He might.
Well, exactly. He's realised his dream of winning the trophy.
You might think that's me. I'm done here for 5 years now.
Yeah, it might be.
I'm one of those Wilfred Zaha contracts. Let's go to the attackers. We've got Scamacca, Antonio, Ings, Bowen, and Benrahma.
Obviously Ings, like I said, he has to go. He can go back to Burnley, Villa, wherever he wants to go. Spurs will probably need a striker when Kane goes. And you know what? There's something so like he just seems like a Tottenham striker, like one of them old school Tottenham strikers that they used to have. I think it'd be perfect.
He's literally the best striker you have right now.
Well, I'm sorry, the goals ain't showing that, are they? The output isn't.
How many goals has he got versus Antonio?
I think Ings has scored like 3 goals for us.
How many goals has Antonio scored?
Ings has scored 2 Premier League goals, 2 assists.
2 assists. What's Antonio on? Antonio's on way more than that.
Antonio.
No, I'm saying in the time frame that Ings has been in the club, how many has Antonio scored?
Antonio has 5 goals in the league, 3 assists, 33 games. Ings has played 17 games.
No, but
minutes played, probably look better.
Antonio affects the all-around play. Do you know what I mean? He creates
Antonio
space
is shit, man. Allow it, please. Antonio is shit.
Nah, you can't say he's shit.
Ings has 1,589 minutes in the Prem. Let's see how many Antonio has. This is not going to be fun.
He has a few more.
Few.
But I'm just don't you think like Ings and Spurs, like Ings looks like a Spurs striker, like
no.
I'm not.
Danny Ings of probably I'd say 3-4 years ago. Yes, I like Danny Ings. When he was shooting at Southampton, I said that's a guy I would like to see at Spurs. But now, no thanks.
Well, I would move him on. Scamacca, I would keep, even though, like I said, he don't fit the Moisey way, but he can hold up the ball. He's like a medium between Ings and Antonio. He's like somewhere in the middle, but he's a class player. You can link up him, Paqueta, and Benrahma. Are you serious? Like, what? You didn't even mention Benrahma.
I did. I said Benrahma's name last.
Oh, okay. Of course, yeah. Of course, I'm keeping him. Yeah, you know what I mean. So, end of the day. Ings to go, Scamacca to stay, Mubama out on loan. Maybe Luton.
Who on loan?
Mubama.
Is this the young player that West Ham fans have been asking to get game time?
Yeah, Starboy. We're talking about Starboy.
Why didn't you keep him?
Is he the one? Did he play against Arsenal in the
FA Youth Cup final, isn't it?
Yeah, he did. He did.
Was he the one that scored the lob?
No, he didn't score in that game. He didn't score in that game.
Okay. Why don't you keep him and give him opportunities?
Because I just don't know. Like, he's still a young guy. I want him to get more opportunities than what Moyes will probably give him. As long as Antonio is still at this club, you know what I mean. Like, and personally, like, if it's me, love Antonio. Been a great player for us, despite what Spurs Tobs says. I would hope to be able to move on from Antonio. But maybe keep him as a squad player. But again, as long as we've got Moyes, we might as well keep Antonio. And like I said, Mubama on loan to like Luton.
You don't need any signings because you've got your under-18s that beat us, and you said the future's bright, so you won't be signing anyone. You just use them.
But with the future, again, that's they're under 18s, right? So the future don't mean like this season, does it? That's not the future. That's kind of like now.
Well, mate, the way you were bigging them up, I mean, you might as well play most of them this season.
Oh, it's still salty, isn't it? Because you got slapped in your own backyard, isn't it?
Mate, I don't actually care, but the way you're bigging them up, it was like, wow,
They were fucking brilliant. Even Tobs was rating it. Tobs was this is
exactly.
Tobs.
So you might want to play some of them then.
Well, I want to play some of them. Yeah, Skulls at left back. I'd play him. There's some great players there.
Wrong manager.
So I would play him.
You got the wrong manager for that, I think. Moyes ain't
got the wrong man exactly, and that's who I would get rid of.
Moyes.
I'm surprised he didn't go and try to get Pochettino late on, seeing as it looked like he was definitely going to manage someone. Surprised he didn't put in a.
Well, unfortunately, unlike all of you lot, our season is not over. Our season is still going on, so we can't really make any decisions until after June 7th. Then when our season is finished.
Next Wednesday is your final day of the season. Quick prediction before we go. Just one last.
This Wednesday.
No, it's next. The Europa League's this week, Wednesday. Then it's the FA Cup final Saturday. Then Conference League next Wednesday. The Champions League's next Saturday. And if you care, Under-20 World Cup next Sunday.
Okay. West Ham versus Fiorentina. I'm gonna say 2-1 West Ham. I think we're gonna do it. I watched the Coppa Italia final, and they really struggled to break down Inter. I know it's Inter, but their final ball was shocking. I think if we, was to get a goal or two, shut up shop, I think we'd, really find it hard to score. They'll probably let one slip through, maybe a corner or something, or a counter or something like that. But I looked at that, touch wood, I sort of felt like, I think we might be okay. I think we'll be okay against Fiorentina. Big game. We have to win. We can't lose this game. This is do or die now. This is my neck is on the chopping block. The boys have to do it. They have to do it, man. And it's going to be... the nerves are starting to come. The worst starting to... Look, everyone's predicting Fiorentina to win.
You're stressed.
Sick. Look at this. I want your predictions. I want all your predictions.
I for the purpose of the meet up, the link up, I don't know. Part of me does want... I don't really mind. I think either or would be hilarious. If you lose...
I'm not talking about what you want. This is a prediction. This is what you think.
I haven't really watched enough. I haven't watched Fiorentina at all this season, so I don't know what their level is. I know in Serie A they're about mid-table, so I don't really... And you guys have had a bad Premier League season, so it's I don't really know. Fiorentina finished 9th.
Got to a final of the Coppa Italia.
I don't really care. Like, it'll be funny either way, but it'll be funny.
Yeah, it's funny either way.
It'll be funny for Lawless to start
what's your prediction?
Running around. I'll go 1-1 Fiorentina on penalties.
I'll go West Ham on penalties. Tobs, what about you?
I'm going to go Fiorentina in normal time.
Yeah, what's the score then? What's your bullshit score? He froze. What's your score?
I'm back now.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Fiorentina in normal time.
Yes. How many? What's the score? Score prediction requires a score.
2-1.
Oh, confidence there. I'm telling you what, if it better not go penalties, man. If we're going to lose it.
I wanted to go penalties just for the stress.
I would.
That's what I've got.
That would be so sweet. That would be so sweet. Oh.
I can't take it, man. I can't. But boy, I'm doing a watch along. We're doing a big, not just any normal watch along. It's going to be a special watch along. We're going to live early. It's going to be all sorts of festivities. The studio, we've done it up. We've changed it up. It's going to be looking.
Is it Conference League? Is it going to be looking like Conference League? Green?
Nah, do you know what? It's going to be looking like West Ham. That's what it's going to look like. And I need to get a replica. Can you buy replicas of these trophies or something?
Yeah, probably. I don't know if there's a Conference League replica, but there's Champions League.
Yeah. If anyone can make one or something, get in touch. You know what I mean?
The replica Conference League trophy. Wow.
Yeah, I want to hold it up after the game. I'm not going to touch it. Oh my God, I can't believe it, man. I can't believe we're just over a week away from a final. And it's either going to be glorious and I'm going to be coming for everyone's necks and I'm going to have my chest out or it's going to be disastrous and I might have to go hiding.
Yeah. Well, Lawless, let the people know where to find you. Where can they find you for the next week stress?
West Ham Fan TV. All the content will be there. Build up. We're doing a big preview. All the lads were all getting together on Saturday. Like I said, we've got the watch along. It's going to be lots of build up and lots of content from Nicky and them in Prague. He's going to be filming a lot of stuff over there. So it's going to be big. And like I said, come and join me for the watch along because the nerves are going to be all over the place. And you can also find me on Potts' channel, 12th Man Podcast, where Tobs' Wi-Fi is just a shit. So do check me out. I'll be live with Potts tonight, I believe. Potts didn't even say the time. I'm assuming it's like 9 or 10 p.m. or something.
That's right, man. 9 p.m.
Well, Potts, let the people know where to find you. Perfect segue.
Nice one. Tobs has decided to leave.
What a brilliant way to end his last
way to end his last stream with us is
He's such a coward, man.
Yeah, people, if you want to come follow me, it's at DanArsenal87 on socials. And if you would like to come over tonight at 9 p.m., you'll see myself, Lawless, and the other guys on the Race for Europe show on Football's 12th Man podcast. So please come over and subscribe. We're on our way to 10K, peeps. So if you can help us to get there, that'd be amazing. Thank you.
Someone said invite the panel to the studio. Do you think I'm going to be watching that with Tobs? Do you think I would watch that final and sit there with this guy? With the possibility.
That would mess up your experience. You can't be doing that.
Yeah, I could not watch that with him sitting there.
Well, guys, that was Tapping Tobs' last live episode with London Club's Carnage because next season he will not be with us. He's, like I said at the start of the show, given great service. You know what I'm saying? OG of the London Club's Carnage from way back with Lee and Corey. So yeah, that was his last episode. We will be replacing him with another Tottenham fan. I don't know who that Tottenham fan will be yet, but we'll be going through as a panel. We'll be going through like X Factor and going through all the options and seeing seeing who will be pissing off Lawless next season. But yeah, listen, Tob's a busy guy, man. He's as we all know on this panel, very busy, very stressed, lots of work. So we appreciate the time that he's put in over the last few years. But now we're going to be getting on another person next year. So listen, it's going to be interesting, and that will be the full circle. But we shall see who it will be. And yes, make sure you subscribe to his channel, Tapping Tobs, link in the description. And like I said, the next episode will be in person, podcast recorded in studio for us, and we'll be kind of doing the aftermath of the Conference League because that's it after that for this season of teams. Nobody else is in any other finals, so that's basically that, and then we go from there. So yeah, until then, guys, big up your damn selves. It must be Tottenham representation, not Man United. In a bit, people. Big up. Peace.
Come on, West Ham.